Hello my dears, if you're new to seeing my face, my name is Sydney Zarlingo and I make videos about being autistic, disabled, gay, and a college student. Well, not all of those things yet, but at some point I will feature all of the things. I'm working on it. Anyway, in today's video we're going to talk about functioning labels. So as you may know simply by the title Autism Spectrum Disorder, autism is a spectrum. For a long while I thought it looked like this, a straight line that ranges from mild verbal and high functioning to severe nonverbal and low functioning. I also thought that Asperger's syndrome was the less severe side and autism was the more severe, and somehow there was a distinction in the middle, and I had a lot to learn. So we're going to start by discussing the labels in the hot mess that is the DSM, and then work from there. As I said in my last video, autism is categorized into 3 severity levels in the DSM-5. Level 1 autism is listed as requiring support, level 2 autism is listed as requiring substantial support, and level 3 is listed as requiring very substantial support. I won't go too in depth about how the DSM defines each category because frankly it's boring and frustrating and wordy, but based on my stimming, sensory issues, and special interests, I have level 2 autism. Based on my communication and sociability, I have level 1 autism. In elementary school, my response to change would have been categorized as level 3 autism, but now I'd be a level 2 or a level 1 depending on the day. With a migraine, my sensory issues are level 3 and my sociability is a level 2. I could go on, but I hope you see by now that this is a hot mess and does not help clarify anything. So what about Asperger's syndrome, you ask? Well, in 2013, Asperger's syndrome was subsumed under the autism category and the term was removed entirely from the DSM. It does still exist in the ICD and people are diagnosed with it all over the world every day, and most psychologists in the US, when talking about autism, still discuss Asperger's and mention it to their patients, even though it's no longer technically a diagnosis. It's seen as the less severe version of autism, and an Aspie is considered to be better off than an Audi. Also, I should mention that Asperger was a Nazi who did bad things, but that's a discussion for another day. The actual autism spectrum looks a whole lot more like this, and this, also this and that one too. Surprise, surprise, people don't fit into neat little boxes. This version of the spectrum has categories of skills, sensitivities, mental processes, and support needs, and each autist version of the spectrum looks differently from other autists. And it may look differently depending on the day for themselves. Sometimes, and in some spaces, people need more support, in others they don't. It's all incredibly variable. For example, migraine Sydney spectrum looks very different from regular Sydney spectrum. So why are functioning labels harmful? I mean, in a way, don't they just describe your support needs? Well, unfortunately for us, stigma is a thing, and in our society, a high-functioning autist is seen as a quirky genius, and a low-functioning autist is seen as an unintelligent burden. By categorizing us, our experiences are minimized into terms of worthiness. Calling someone high-functioning praises them for seeming more normal, and for masking or hiding their artistic traits, which is incredibly exhausting. By telling me I'm high-functioning, you aren't giving me a compliment, you're just telling me that I'm just normal enough to make you feel comfortable. It's ignoring the fact that I struggle every single day. By calling someone low-functioning, you're ignoring their successes, intelligence, feelings, and humanity, and it implies that they're just a burden, and that can be really, really, really harmful. There's also a strong idea of superiority tied in, as I mentioned earlier, that high-functioning people or people with Asperger's are better off than low-functioning people or autistic people. And this idea of superiority isn't just a neurotypical thing, it's rampant in the autistic community too. It's often known as Aspie supremacy, which I learned about after I'd put Aspie stickers all over my water bottles, so yeah. But at the end of the day, regardless of so-called functioning or levels, all autistic people are on the spectrum somewhere. All of our differences and experiences are valid, and we have different degrees, types, and categories of support needs. Dividing us into groups is just another way to push us into specific categories to justify that some people have it worse off than others. No autistic person is better or worse than any other. No human is better off or worse than any other. If all the energy we spent on trying to categorize and label people by so-called functioning levels were spent on listening to each person and accommodating their support needs, things would be a whole heck of a lot easier for everyone involved. Well, that was a bit of a heavy one, but I hope you learned some things. If you want a palate cleanser, I wrote a song for my dog's birthday on Thursday, which is really cute, and I have some other educational videos and college vlogs you can check out. Please take care of yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.